Peter Thiel dumped all of his Nvidia position, I think over $100 million, slash 76% of his Tesla stake. So does he know something that the rest of us don't? Is this the exit of the year or a historic mistake in the making?
Whenever, and this goes back to the Bury Point, SoftBank, when these headlines come about, there's two questions you have to ask. When did they initially invest into the equity or asset?
Mm-hmm.
And then two, what was the reason they're looking to get out? Now, the $1 million question everyone wants to know, my full thoughts on Peter Thiel. I'm going to talk about the Stock Club Saturday. But this does remind me somewhat of 2022 when Chamath, Bezos, Zuckerberg, everyone was clearing house. There's a reason why. I want to be very clear because like Nvidia is like one of my core legacy picks. The days of 100 and 200% gains on Nvidia are gone for probably the next 2 or 3 years. You're not going to get 200% year-over-year return. Are you still going to get incredibly high return? For sure. But if you don't know the reason, because Peter ran a macro fund for a while, left, took over government, read his book 0 to 1. His whole plan is in there. It's not as black and white as what he sells, so I should sell. You can argue Tesla's doing better than ever, given this year's climate and what he went through. Tesla's doing pretty strong. Nvidia is a company that's going to lead America into like this AI revolution and sustain the GDP of America for the next 5 or 6 years. So I don't think that's a signal to get out. But SoftBank selling and him selling a few others, I think they've maximized their game. And you have to know Bill and Melinda Gates taking money off the table for Microsoft. And people are preparing their war chest. This is hibernation season. Put it in chat. The rich are entering hibernation season. Most of the meat is off the bone for pause, if we need to be mature, for Nvidia if you've been in for 6 or 7 years. So if you're up 2,000 or 3,000%, it doesn't make sense to hold for another 1,000% just to be able to brag in Abu Dhabi or Dubai how we did. And I know I heard one of y'all was upset about that. You supposed to be our friend. Don't do that.
Don't do that to us.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah. I want to break that SoftBank down for a second, if I could, because when the headline broke, it was like, oh my gosh, SoftBank liquidated their position in Nvidia, which sounds like alarming on the surface, but when you pull back the layers, you realize that this is part of that circular rotation of money that we're talking about. Well, they sold their stake because they needed money to help build out their infrastructure.
Yep.
In their deal with Oracle and OpenAI. Well, inside of that infrastructure, guess where they're going to spend their money? Back with Nvidia to get chips, right? And so it sounds alarming, but really it's just going back into that circular rotation. The Peter Thiel thing is interesting because he is a tech-heavy guy. And when you see tech-heavy guys pull out of tech companies, yeah, it does raise a flag. But like I think what you said is important. Understanding that when you take a profit, that's not like something you should be upset about. Like you're making profit, right? You don't lose by taking profit. The other part is I actually looked up when they entered the position. The first public filing for his firm was in of Nvidia stake was in Q4 of last year. Now that means he could have gotten it in Q3 of last year when the average price was about 117, or it was in Q4 where the average price was 135 to 140. Either way, you're up $50 to $60 when you have over 500,000 shares. You've made profit. They've taken profit.
We've won the game. Now, I would be worried if he exited out of his Palantir position. Now, that would terrify me. He didn't do that.
Right. I mean, he has ties to that company. So, I mean, people are positioning themselves to have what I think is the most important thing in any environment, and that's having reserves, right? Like you can't, right? The next report will be, and you probably won't see it, is if he enters the position again at some point in the near future, right? By the time we hear about it, it'll be a quarter or two after they've actually done it. So does it raise a flag? Yeah. Does it mean you should sell off your Nvidia position? I'm not. I still believe in it. I still think it's going to lead the U.S. economy for sure for the next 2 or 3 years, have the largest market cap. All, even price targets have been raised to 250, 230 ahead of earnings, even though it pulled back today. So I'm watching the raise flag. I'm studying the raise flag, but I'm still staying strong in my position.
This is also just goes back to my point about Bitcoin.
Tell me more. You cooking tonight, my boy.
You like this is like all right, the average person. But okay, this is something that when we haven't mentioned here. Peter Thiel has a high level government access.
Mm-hmm.
He's privy to information that none of us are privy to.
He is the government. He the program. Literally.
Perhaps.
His protege is the vice president of the United States. And he has a very close relationship with the administration.
Mm-hmm.
So he knows the economic headwinds.
Mm-hmm.
He knows data. He knows job reports. He knows what's coming down the tunnel 6 months, 12 months in advance. Nvidia, once again, it's like Bitcoin. Everybody thinks that Nvidia is going to go up over the course of time. I don't think anybody thinks that Nvidia is just going to fall off a cliff. It's the biggest company in the world. What, short term?
Has it hit his cap for the year? Absolutely.
You think it stays here?
It'll trace a little bit lower. I got it going at least to like worst case scenario, like 160s, but that top of 212.19, that's the high for the year for sure.
Oh, okay. That's what I was saying. You see it not crossing 200 by the end of the year.
Yeah.
So even short term pullbacks could potentially be harmful for a portfolio that's extremely large, and you might see opportunities in something else where you can have in that short term pullback, you can have short term gain.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not necessarily like it's neither wrong or right as far as he might be seeing something where it's like, okay, I'm not just going to lose $50 million just for the hell of it when I could make $100 million in here in 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
By doing this, I'm gonna move this position, you can move back. They're moving their money around a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the same thing with Bitcoin. Wales was doing that since the beginning. They would sell large positions, get back in, move like so
preservation of capital.